YouTube, I am SOCOM Junkie 1982. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's video on the Springfield Armory 1911 DS 4.25 inch Basilisk compensator from Underworld Arms. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss this one. So I initially bought this firearm because I wanted to get into the 2011 game. Like everybody else, I didn't want to spend, thousands and thousands of dollars. So I opted for the Prodigy, and I wanted the 4.25 inch because I knew I was going to put a compensator on it. Just didn't know which one I was going to go with. So eventually, when I got ready to get the compensator, I ended up going with the Underworld Arms Cyclops. And on the firearm, you can see there is a adapter piece that goes onto your rail. It actually extends your rail. It's a multi-slot. And then you can pick your upper. Initially, again, like I said, I had the Cyclops on here. I'll roll in a few photos for that. And when they came out with the Basilisk, I mean, it was a no-brainer, right? You just buy the upper and you can connect it to the lower via that screw here, all right? And you're good to go. Now, this is I would say a quad port. About a quad port. I mean, I don't really know what they call it, but it looks better, shoots better. And I mean, I really like it. Makes it look like that Sand Viper, right? This gun is like super oily. And that's one thing about running a 2011 of any sort, you gotta keep it clean. I mean, if you don't keep it clean, it's not gonna run. Now, initially, when I spoke with Underworld Arms, they told me to get some of these Atlas springs. This is a 9-pound spring, 4.6 inch. They said it's a little bit more reliable with those springs, so I bought 3 of them. Have not used them yet. As a matter of fact, the Prodigy comes with this standard guide rod and plug. I have since replaced that with a Dawson Precision. Let's see if I can get the Dawson Precision there. Toolless guide rod, and it works phenomenally. I'm still using the standard 12-pound recoil spring that it comes with. And as you can see, maybe not, it's, stainless steel matches the barrel. So again, you can tell here, the compensator does not go fully over the barrel. It's not a threaded barrel of any sort. It's a detachable compensator, if you will. But to clean this bad boy, you've got to, of course, take off your weapon light. There are 2 screws underneath. And there are videos about how to do this, on YouTube. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you just take the light off, and then there are screws here on the rail. You take those 2 screws out, and there's a bar. You slide that out, and then you can slide this entire assembly off. Okay, and if you don't want to do that, you can unscrew the upper. Okay, this screw attaches the upper to the lower. You can take that screw out, take the upper off, and then you can clean it the way you want, like that. But I basically leave it on. I clean it with the compensator on. It hasn't given me any issues. As a matter of fact, this setup has not given me any issues. 0. I've put about 1,200 rounds total through this firearm in various configurations, whether it be the Cyclops compensator, no compensator, with a red dot, which, without a red dot, and this is the Holosun 507C. And I'll show you here, this is actually the way I like to run my red dots. I'll try to get that in the frame for you. Maybe, there it is. Okay, so I like the circle dot. All right, I noticed that when I shoot red dots now, circle dot just my eyes can pick it up faster. It seems a bit more stable in the window. I don't see a lot of the jump as if it were just a regular red dot. So I like the circle dot. I'm a little bit more accurate with it, a little bit faster with it as well. I actually took this firearm to an NRA instructor course, and I shot lights out. I mean, I really did. This was probably on par with my 6-hour X5 Legion, the P226 model. This thing here, I mean, I felt good running this. Now let's talk about these magazines real quick. So when you buy the Prodigy, you're gonna get if you live in a free state, of course, you're gonna get a 20 rounder and you're gonna get a 17 rounder. This is the only 17 rounder that I have for this pistol. I'm gonna tell you why. When I'm running this pistol and I have to do a tactical reload or whatever, this thing will not drop free. Of course, it's doing it now, but when it gets dirty, it will not drop free. I mean, it just stays in there, and I'm just whipping it, and it still will not come out. I have to physically get in there and pry this thing out. Sometimes it almost cost me a perfect score on one of my quals, so I no longer run the 17. What I did do is go out and buy a couple of 26 round stick mags. Why? Because America. And, you know, that looks goofy, but I mean, it works, and that's what we care about. So I've got 2 of those, and then I went out and bought, well, 1 came with it. So I've got 1 that actually came with the firearm. There's a new one, and yes, I bought 4 more 20 rounders. That's the way I actually run this firearm. 20 rounds. If I'm carrying this, it's got a 20 rounder in it. Of course, you've got the X300 Surefire light there. This is the one with the thumb screw. It's the only one I would buy. I don't really like the way the I forget what they call it, but the little notched one, you know, I don't like that one. I like the one that I can screw and tighten down myself. Let's see. Shot this thing so much that the fiber optic green sight came off. I mean, literally flew off, had no clue what to do with that thing, you know, where it went rather. And so I ended up going to my little, you know, spare parts trunk that I have, and I just so happened to have a few you know, green dots lying around, or fiber optic sights lying around, and I just pretty much picked the one I thought would fit, which happened to be this thicker one here. I don't know what size it is. Like I said, I just had this laying around from other builds, other guns, and I knew I had some. I just didn't know if they would fit. It actually fit, and so when the next one, you know, falls out, I'll be sure to just keep on, you know, redoing it. I shoot this gun a lot. Like I said, about 1,200 rounds. I'm gonna shoot it again today. As you'll see, it is a wonderful, wonderful firearm. Let's see what else I got for you. I got the Underarms holster, Kydex holster for this thing. Now, if you buy a compensator for your Prodigy, you know, you put it on. It could be the Cyclops or the Basilisk. It will fit in their holster with the X300 light. Now, I mean, it's not like super, you know, this gun is super heavy, right? But it's not like, you know, all the retention in the world. I mean, it's just enough to cover the trigger guard, hold the firearm, you know, in place. And as you can see, I outfitted mine with the Safariland QLS fork system, and you know, and that's how I run it. So I put that on either a drop leg holster or a regular low ride holster, you know, adapter, and that's the way I run it on my belt. So this firearm came with the Hex Dragonfly red dot. Okay. no. This is nice try, Springfield, but this ain't gonna work. So I took that off immediately. Went to Springfield's website, contacted them. They sent out the plate for the Holosun 507C, and that's what I've been running. You cannot see everything that's on this desk right now, but it is a lot of crap. Let me say, I've got a lot of stuff on this desk right now, and it's all to do with this particular gun. Here are the regular iron sights that come with it, okay? And we've already spoken about the Hex Dragonfly that will be going to eBay or something. I'm getting rid of this thing quickly. And let's talk about this, okay? You're gonna need some Loctite. This is red, it says red, 271, and then 242 blue. You're gonna need both of these if you wanna run the compensators from Underworld Arms. Reason being is this screw that's in the middle will back out on you. You do not want that to happen. So the best thing to do is just get the red Loctite and put it on there and set it and forget it, okay? If you run your gun like this, it's gonna be better to just keep everything on, keep it nice and tight, and clean your firearm with the barrel still intact. And then the blue Loctite, is going to be for the attachment point for the actual rail that attaches to your gun. So you'll want to put blue Loctite on that one in case you do have to actually take this whole assembly off for whatever the reason, okay? So let's see. I think I've pretty much covered everything. This is a Magwell. Can't remember if it's Staccatos or let's see if they have. Yeah, this might be a Staccato. You can see the emblem there. So that's what I have on here. I do eventually want to pin and pin this grip safety in, because I mean it's just one more thing that can get in your way. I mean, if you train enough with it, fine, but I think it'll be better if it were pinned, so I'm just gonna pin it. Safeties are good, very tactile, audible. They work like any 2011. When you actually go to slide lock, if you are changing mags, right, and you're doing that thing, you do have to come over with your support thumb if you're right-handed, support thumb, and let down that slide release. Otherwise, you won't be able to get to it, with your dominant thumb. It's just not going to happen. It's set way too deep. It's set way too deep in there to actually, actuate with your with one hand. Okay, so you're gonna have to come over like every other night. 2011 that you run, that's the way you're gonna have to do it. This thing is super oily. I apologize for that, but again, if you run this gun, you're gonna have to keep it oiled just so you don't run into those issues on the range that a lot of other folks run into. So I don't run into those issues because I keep my firearms clean. It's just something that I've done for 22 plus years of shooting. So, and yes, I am that old. Yep. Okay. So, what am I running in this thing? I've only run two grains, 115 and 124, but both have been laser, and the 124 grain seems to both of them work just fine, but the 124s seem to be a tad bit more accurate for me. The way that I shoot, the way I like to shoot, how fast I shoot, how slow I shoot, the 124s seem to be a bit more accurate for me. Let's see, when you buy the Compensator from Underworld, you're gonna get the Compensator, of course. You're gonna get the rail attachment, and they're gonna send you some blue Loctite here in the baggie. You're gonna get an Allen wrench and then a few more of the small set screws for the attachment to your rail. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I have a set of Allen wrenches that I use, and I didn't even use the Loctite that they sent me, and this is all I got. So I mean, something's better than nothing, but you know, this is what I got. I didn't even use it, so you know what's going on there. Let's see. Just if you want to see the toolless guide rod system, just go on YouTube. You know, find another reviewer who has that. I'll put a photo up so you can see it, but I'm not gonna disassemble this firearm to show you that. But this is an awesome gun. I mean, I have been just amazed, and you know, I'm a firearms instructor, right? And so when you go to classes as a firearms instructor for your own requalifications or whatever the case is, just your basic training, you want to run firearms that you know are going to accentuate your skill set. This did that in spades. I mean, I was shooting with guys who had $4,000, $5,000 staccatos. They were all over the place. One gentleman had an Atlas. Yeah, he was, you know, but it wasn't like this. And again, you know, the gun's not going to make the shooter. You got to be a good shooter, a great shooter, whatever, no matter what firearm you put in your hand. But some firearms make you, you know, that much better. And I think this one did it for me. I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of this. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to buy a second one. This is the 4 1/4 inch, if I didn't say that already. The 5, if I were to get the 5, I mean, you know, it would be way, you know, way too long, too big of a gun to even carry outside the waistband. So I'm not gonna do that. But I mean, I beat this thing up. I mean, in 1,200 rounds. I mean, I've gone through 2 courses already. Probably about 350 rounds total in those courses. I mean, constant presentations. I mean, I've got some holster wear at the top there, right? Some scratches, you know. I mean, this thing has been beaten upon so much. Another thing, but you know, it's still running. But another thing too, let's talk about this red Loctite. You're gonna need red Loctite for any red dot plate that you use. I don't care what it is. If you get the AOS, you know, system, you're gonna need red Loctite. If you put blue Loctite on these plates, it's gonna come off, and you're gonna get pissed because it's gonna come off at the most inopportune time. So if you don't want to learn the hard way like I did, go ahead, bite the bullet, red Loctite it. You know, torque it down to whatever spec they say torque. I torque it until I can't torque it anymore. And then, you know, that's that. And so now it doesn't move. It doesn't wobble. So it's been about 600 rounds since I've red Loctited that plate. So let's see. Grips. You know, it's a polymer base. It hasn't flexed. You know, it hasn't, you know, done anything like that. I mean, I think I don't have enough rounds in it through it to notice anything, you know, out of the ordinary. But again, this is my first 2011, and so I really don't know what to expect. I just know it's holding up great. Would I recommend this? You know, 50-50. Your mileage may vary on the reliability of a Prodigy. I've seen the YouTube videos of many people saying that theirs didn't run, they had issues. But I mean, every single magazine, with the exception of the 17 rounder that I don't use anymore, I'll just put that aside. These 20s are phenomenal. They absolutely run great. All right, the 26s, the Stick Mags 26s. I mean, looks a little goofy, but I mean, they run, and that's all I care about. You know, can I, you know, run this gun hard without malfunctions and anything like that? Absolutely. I can do that with this gun. I'm not saying, you know, everybody's gun is gonna run like this one, but Mine is A-OK, A1. I am digging it 100%. Yeah, so that's basically it, guys. This was my quick video of the Springfield Prodigy with the, Underworld Arms Basilisk Compensator. Yeah, so enjoy the range footage, and thanks so much for taking 5 minutes out of your day to check in with me and see this review on this Prodigy. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. SOCOM Junkie 1982 out.